it's Christine. Today is day 23 of Christy's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches. I almost lost track because I'd actually written the wrong day down on the sketch, and I had to double check myself because I had them backwards. Today's sketch is a two-pager. Two-pager here. It's got a pie circle thingy with 4 photos. JQ Crafty. I'm thinking I might end up putting a picture over here. We're going to see. I got 5 photos, so we're going to see how I get that going. What I'm thinking is I have, well, my 5 photos, we went to Fossil Rim here in Texas where they have dinosaur, that's probably fake, honestly, there, but it's little, they actually have real dinosaur tracks. And then there's also like an animal thing, like a safari type drive-through deal, but I'm going to use these pictures here. We're just kind of doing the dinosaur deals. And then I've pulled out my Vicki Boutin Fernwood because that seems kind of, you know, nature-y. So I'm hopeful. I think I can find 2 pages out of this. Y'all, I didn't even think about it when I pulled it. I'm going to have to look through this. My goal is to use this. If not, I can probably use a basic cardstock and then use, I don't know. I need to go back through this because I have been using the crap out of this collection. We'll see what I got in there now. Because I have tons of ephemera. That's why I'm kind of wanting to use this, because I still have tons of this ephemera. So, let me actually go through my papers here, see what I have. Because basically, I need 2 sheets. I do need at least 2 full sheets of 12 by 12. I do. So, let me see what I've got, and I'll come back. Thanks. Okay, everybody. I went through my pad, and thankfully I had 3 sets of 12 by 12. So what I had was this stripe here, this rainbow stripe, and on the back side is this pattern. Then I had the butterfly, on the back side of which is this yellow flower. And then I had this black and white, or mostly I guess it's black and white with a little greenish type tinge to it, flowers, and on the back is some cut-aparts. Now, looking at the sketch here, I need like there's an outside frame, which could absolutely just be a solid cardstock, no problem. And then I need this middle part where the photos are going to be on it. And I was looking at this because, if I'm honest, I really love this butterfly paper. Like, I love it. But the problem I have is if I do that, if I don't use this, I can't use this, right? I'd almost have to use this. But honestly, the photos just get so lost on it. It's just so lost. They look so much better on this one. So I'm going to have to go with this one. So I'm going to figure out a way maybe to somehow gut over here. I'm not really certain. Because I have to put my circle here. Now the circle, maybe, I've got actually, well, I just knocked off a bunch of scraps there. I do have a few larger scraps and a couple of singles. So if I don't want to do the circles here because that's going to look weird circle on circle. So we may not use that. I do have, oh, this green's not big enough, so that's not going to work. I don't think I want to use this. I don't like that too much. So then I get into these ones, and there's blue. I don't think I like the blue. The green, maybe. But then I've got this really pretty floral here, so I may end up doing this here, because this is dark, and I kind of like that. And then I might can use the orange or something. I still have to keep thinking, y'all, because I got all these patterns to work with. But I think I'm going to go ahead and get my base ready, because I do need that done. And then on the other hand, I kind of like this here. This might look cool. All right, let me get my base ready. I don't think I'm going to use this. I think this is going to be used for something else. Well, for that matter, what if I used it for my outsides? Instead of a cardstock. Does that look okay? Maybe so. Maybe so. All right, let me get the base ready and then I'll come back. Okay, talk soon. Okay, quick check-in here. I have gotten the striped paper and the yellow paper down. I did I've already set them down, so I'm not going to pull it out. I did gut the stripe from here to here, like I cut it out. So I did mount it on like a brown piece of just plain cardstock. It's kind of cheap cardstock, to be honest with you. And it's just really to kind of keep stuff, you know, together. So I have that. And then I used an old like dinner plate looking deal to trace a circle. Now, y'all, I did it from this direction, this side, so that I didn't want to mark necessarily on the front, which is silly because I did it on this one. But in my initial thought, I was like, oh, I don't want to mess up my flowers, so I do it from this side. Well, then when I did it from that side, I realized technically it was backwards, so I have to flip it. So the sketch technically has little pie charts kind of coming from this. Well, they're more like here. And mine's going to be going more like there just because I did that backwards. But that's okay. So I traced all that, and then I actually used that in my, sorry, my cat's getting into my things, to then trace out these to make the little pie pieces. So they're going to kind of come like this. And I was kind of pleased, honestly. Having to do this basically by hand, I'm pleased with how much I was able to do. So that's my start. I haven't glued that down yet, obviously. I'm now going to come in and, I don't know how to do my pictures. I have no idea. I've got to find them. Oh, here they are. I'm going to start matting these, and I'm thinking, like I said, I think what I'm going to do is I may put a picture here. I'll trim this, you know. I don't know. I'm thinking that's what I'm going to do. And then these will be, I'll trim these up and they'll go over here. Now it has a subtitle here. I don't really know what I'm going to do just yet. I haven't even figured out my title. Because technically a title would go up here. Unless y'all, I am knocking stuff everywhere. Unless I did the picture there and the title there. I'm not really certain now because I have to, since my pie chart's moved around, I might have to change it. There's not really any titles necessarily there. I may have to get into my big titles. We'll see. Anyways, so that's where I've gotten. I'm going to start gluing these pieces down, and then I'll start trimming and matting photos, and then we shall come back in just a moment. All right, talk soon. Y'all, this is the 4th time I've started this voiceover. Oh my gosh, I'll tell you in a second. Basically, I just want to tell you at this point, on the photos on the right, I have mounted the photos on the striped paper, and then I have 2 different green patterns, and you can see those under the photograph I'm actually messing with right now. There's a little bit darker shade of green with actually there's word scripts on it. And then there's on the right side, I think is the pattern with like, I want to say it was florals or something. It's like a green on green, tone on green. And then I'm mounting the whole little element there, the whole little photo element onto the orange that I did scuff the outside edges of that. And then the photos on the right, like I said, I've already mounted those on the striped paper on the first layer on all 4. And then the 2 of them I did the darker green on green, and then 2 of them I did the little bit lighter green on green. Now, honestly, you can't tell too much because they are very thin little borders, that they're different patterns, but I wanted to implement both patterns, so that's why I put them on the left-hand side photo there. And again, per the sketch, that photo wasn't there. I just did it. I went a little bit rogue. I got a little bit rogue on a couple pieces of this thing, and definitely on that thing. So the other thing I did is the sketch called for a subtitle in between the 2 rows of photos. And I just couldn't wrap my brain around that. Like, I just didn't want to do that. So what I ended up doing basically instead is I took these note cards and I put them under the lower left picture and the upper right picture. That was just kind of how my brain liked those things. So, and the 2 note cards, they say notes on them, actually look essentially like the same card. I had gotten this as a collection by self. And then I got in the scrap room Flavors of the Month, I think it was, a little sampling. And I know like some of the ephemera came with that. So I might have gotten some of this ephemera in that little set. That might be why I had duplicates. So here I'm just trying to organize these pictures on top of these little cards. And I didn't bother trimming them or anything like that because I'm running out of paper, which y'all saw. And I know that I'm going to end up having more ephemera than I have paper anyway. Y'all, I don't know if y'all felt it was painful. I left in like a lot of my thinking on the patterns.
Normally I kind of come on camera after I've already picked the papers and already kind of figured out what I want to do with the patterns. And in this particular video, I went ahead and left in my deliberations, I guess is the right word. So you can kind of see my thought process when I'm looking at patterns and just get a sense of it. So I've now mounted those 4 photos on the right, and I've got those little note cards behind them. My photo on the left here, which again, the sketch did not even call for, but I'm putting it because I want to. I'm going to go ahead and put it up on foam. And I've got the title that says here and there right now. And I'm not married to that. So in a minute, you'll see me, I actually start looking around for a different title. I don't actually know what made me think to do that exactly, if I'm honest, but I guess I just decided I didn't really want that title. So I've got it sitting there though, because I'm thinking about it. And then I have some little mushrooms on the right-hand side down there at the bottom. There's no real reason for them either. They're not called for in the sketch, but I just like them. I don't know. They're just attractive to me. So I'm up there and I'm kind of auditioning a couple of titles, and I finally decide on this Stay Curious. I think just because maybe it's like, it's not a school trip or anything like that, but to me it was kind of a learning thing, right? I mean, we were looking at these dinosaur tracks, and she got to touch, you know, some little models of dinosaur bones. And we went, actually there was an entire section that was like, I won't call it a safari because that's not really right. I mean, it kind of is, but not. I mean, you just drive through like the animal, what do they call that thing? The animals are kind of roaming free in a sense. I mean, they're not technically free because I don't guess they can leave the ginormous park, but they're just roaming, and you just drive your car, you know, through this path. And there was giraffes and all kinds of cool stuff. So I just kind of thought of it as a learning experience for my daughter. So I found that camera on the chipboard, and I really like that. And then I found this other little chipboard arrow thing that says, I think it says here. I like the camera, but it looks weird hanging out there just floating around by itself. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to go through the ephemera and I'll find something. Well, then I find this like half hexagon or something, and I'm thinking, oh, I'll put the mushrooms on that. And then I find the little darker hexagon. And I decided I don't really like the little half hexagon just because I guess, I don't know really why, except it doesn't have the stitching around the whole thing or something. And I like it, but I don't like it. So I'm looking through here because I think I knew I had another little hexagon in there. And I find it. I think this is where I find it. Yep. So this is a little bit different shade of green. So those hexagons were not ephemera. They were actually cut from the pattern paper. I had made a different layout where I used a bunch of them, and those were cut from those. So I just create like a little, I don't know, little element thing down there on the lower right. And so, again, I'm going to go back through these ephemeras again because I got that camera just hanging out there, and I don't like that. So I come across this little label, and I think, oh, okay, you're a good little shelf. Let's use you. And then I'm going back through this stuff. I move that out of the way. And I think I find another like word phrase thing, I think, in a minute. I'm not sure. I forget. Yeah, that thing there. And I don't remember what it says now. Something like today, note today, something like that. And I kind of like it, but it's really just too big. Like I couldn't figure out a good place for it to go. And I'm thinking I'll tuck it back here. I'll tuck it there. I'll tuck it everywhere. And then I finally decided, no, you're not going to work. You're too big. Not going to work. And then I find this one. I think, again, it's something about a day or something like that. And I think, well, maybe it'll go back down here on these mushrooms. But I don't like how that's shaped either. It just doesn't speak to me. And I tried up there as well. I'm auditioning these things. Sometimes, again, the sentiment I like, but it's just the shape or something. It just doesn't look right. So then I'm going through I go back into my little baggie. And I think this is where I find that little mushroom. And I like that, but then I go, okay. And I end up finding another mushroom that's on like a paper clip. And so I'm going to move this little mushroom down here by the camera, and I'll put the paper clip mushroom up there in the upper right. It's a little bit smaller, and I just felt like the size was a little bit better. Even still, I know I'm going to end up putting something else up there. And in just a minute, I'm going to pull out a tag, and you'll see me kind of mess with that. This one's another one. It's a sentiment I kind of like, but just the shape or size or something, it didn't look right. So this is where I'm going to pull this green tag out. It says wildflower, and I really like it. I'm trying to find a home for it, and I'm going to cut over because I really fussed with this for probably 5 minutes or more. And by the time I've cut over here, now you see it's in the upper right corner. I actually tore the bottom off. You can see the bottom is in the upper right above the yellow paper there. I tore that off because I couldn't get it up underneath the note card with the glue. So I tore it off. I contemplated adding a string to that. I do not. Spoiler alert, I don't do it. I really don't know why. And I mean, because I did think about it, and then I think I just got done and decided not to. So what I am doing right now, though, is I did put foam tape behind the Stay Curious title, and that's not going to stay by itself. It looks a little, I don't know, it's a little bit strange by itself because it is kind of floating. So I'll end up, kind of making that touch and all that. We'll add a little something to it, but for the moment, it's okay. And I put foam up underneath my dragonfly. And there's no real reason for the dragonfly, except I just like it. It's a bit random. But on the other hand, we're at this river, and I guess there could have been dragonflies. So I take the camera, and I use my Nuvo glue, and I attach that to the label. And then I take a mushroom. I put the mushroom back up underneath there. And then now I'm working on that lower right corner. And I think I mentioned this, but the sketch does not call for that. And guys, I'm sorry if I have mentioned it. I apologize. Like I said, this is the 4th time I've started this voiceover. I keep getting phone calls and things, and it just stops off my recording. I guess this is why I try to do the recordings at like 5 in the morning, because nobody's calling me. Anyways, all right. So I'm just kind of doing the little right in the lower right corner there, and I do put one of those little mushrooms up on foam. Again, I like the dimension, so he's going to have a little dimension. And I create this whole little element, and then I'm going to glue that down with my tape gun in the lower right corner and put my foam tape underneath my little mushroom here. I do not remember what I do next at all. I don't remember. Unless I come back up on my title and go ahead and take the foam stickers off. I just don't remember. Oh, okay, I know. I take these. No, I'm lying to you. I know I take at one point, I take the circles. Oh, I know what it is. It's the gnomes. The gnomes. I love the little gnomes. So I find a home for 3 gnomes. One goes in the upper right corner on the corner there. One goes over. Oh, I got to kind of do a little touch-ups here because I realize they're not really sticking. I love that little gnome. There's no good reason for this gnome. There's literally no good reason other than I just think he's cute. But I do add 3 of them. So again, I put that one up there in the upper right. I think I put one in that lower cluster. Okay, that one's going by the title, and that looks kind of cute. I'm trying to avoid that dead space between his leg and the word curious. So I have to take off that bottom foam tape, and I'm going to end up dropping that title down just a little bit onto the paper, and I'll end up sticking that there because it takes away that dead space right next to Mr. Gnome. And I like how that turns out. I like him just sitting there. Oh, I'm not going to lie. I love the fact that scrapbooking companies have added gnomes and hedgehogs and, I don't know, flamingos, I guess, is the other one that just, every time I see it, I just love it. I don't know why. There's no good reason. It doesn't really mean a darn thing most of the time, but they're just so stinking cute. I can't help it. Okay, so I'm taking off my foam stickers on my dragonfly. And it's funny because I stick that dragonfly on here, and I think to myself, well, you're kind of by yourself. Maybe I need to put something with you. But ultimately, I don't actually think I do. I think I leave him kind of flying off. I don't remember doing anything else for him. Now, I am looking through the chipboard stickers has these little, they look kind of like pie charts too. They're little circles with like little pie charts, which is kind of perfect if I'm honest with this sketch. And I just sprinkle those around. I just create little visual pockets. And I had to go to this other sheet because I used all the ones on the other one. And I'm going to end up, I'm so sorry. I'm going to end up having to glue those down a little bit Nuvo glue. They won't stick otherwise. And after that, I'm going to end up going over to my letters, my little box of alphas or whatever. And I'll pull out my little small Obed Marshall puffy letters. And you'll cut over and see that in just a second. And the purpose of that is I want to spell the word always above stay curious. Now, I'm going to apologize. My head pops in here because I'm standing up, but I'm trying to look at this word always from the top down because it's kind of hard for me to see at an angle for some reason. I don't know if it's because I've got them on foam or what, but you can see my glasses too. So anyways, I'm putting always stay curious is the title. And that's basically what I do. I don't add any mixed media or anything like that. I think this turned out so stinking cute. I'm really pleased with it. I do take a pen and add to the little pink pie part Fossil Rim 2004, I think it was, but I don't think this is in the pictures. All right, there's the close-up of the left side, and then I'll let you look at the right side in just a second. Well, that's just kind of showing you the the dimensions or whatever. And I'll show you the right side, and then you'll see the close-ups. Thank you guys so much for watching. We're a week away from being through our entire 30 days. Keep on checking it out. Check out Instagram. Check out all the ladies in the links below, or men. I think there's actually a man or two. And we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.